You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. It's your host, Tim Link, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. My special guest today is photographer Pete Thorne. And Pete's put out a wonderful collection of photos and stories and put it all in a wonderful book called Old Faithful, Dogs of a Certain Age. And it's just a brilliant piece of work. So we're going to talk to Pete a little bit about how the project came about, talk to him a little bit about some of the dogs, talk to him about life lessons, and obviously how he tied it all together in the book. So it's going to be a fun time with Pete Thorne. Talk to him about Old Faithful. So everybody hang tight. We're going to come right back after these commercial breaks. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
At Red Barn, our pet food ingredients work overtime. They aren't just there for show. Dandelion greens work to maintain a healthy digestive system. Salmon oil works to enhance the immune system. Green-lipped mussels work to support joint health. These hard-working ingredients support your dog's active, healthy life. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Try our grain-free stews. The only pet food with Red Barn bully sticks.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. It's your host, Tim Link, and joining me now is photographer Pete Thorne. Pete, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. Congratulations on the book, Old Faithful, Dogs of a Certain Age. Tell us a little bit about the book, first of all.
Well, the book is a collection of portraits of senior dogs and combined with little stories and anecdotes and thoughts and feelings about the dogs from the pet owners themselves.
There you go. In the book, I mean, it's just beautifully how you put it together, because when I take a look at it, you've got the photos of the dogs, and it really captures their essence, I believe. And we're talking about dogs that typically, I don't know, do you have any younger than 10 years in here, Pete?
Depends on the breed. So I think there's maybe a boxer or a Dane that's a little under 10 years. But yeah, for the most part, they're all well into their golden years.
That's right. Yeah, I see some of them. Rhodey's 18 years old, a Dachshund, so they definitely have a lot of wisdom in them. Now, how did the book come about, Pete?
Originally, I became interested in the idea of photographing elderly subjects 2 years ago after attending my grandmother's 100th birthday party. I went and photographed that party, and I became interested in the idea of exploring elderly subjects. And I guess in a roundabout way, I just took my love of dogs, and I realized that there's been sort of something missing in terms of representation of dogs, of older dogs. Often they're passed over in favor of young dogs in media and just general attention. And I thought it was, maybe their turn to be put in the spotlight. So I started postering around my city and my neighborhood, and almost right away the response has been really overwhelming.
So it's basically just posting in local newspaper ads or just signs around town letting people know that you're interested in photographing their senior dogs? Yes,
signs on public bulletin boards. I've visited a number of vets, and it was just a really simple sign. It just said, do you have a really old dog? I'm a photographer interested in photographing portraits of senior dogs. Give me, here's my information, give me a shout. And right away I started getting people emailing me almost like the same day and expressing interest in being part of this project. And so when I started getting that type of response, I realized, okay, well, it's one thing to put this out there. Now I actually have to execute it. So I started off bringing like 1 or 2 dogs in, and it kept kind of gaining momentum. After a while, I originally intended it just to be a visual project. I was hoping to maybe have a show at a gallery or something, and then maybe put together a small little booklet that I could just hand out at that show. But almost right away, people started to, when they contacted me, they'd write these incredible, moving testimonials about their dogs, trying to convince me to photograph their dog, to convince me to allow them to be part of the project. And so when I read those stories, I realized that the images was one thing, but these insights into the people's owners' like relationship with their dogs and their pets was something that made the project that much more significant. So I found a way to combine those two together through that Facebook page, and then obviously it lent itself really well to being a book.
When you started getting contacted by people to have their dogs in the book, were you expecting originally that it may be difficult to get enough people interested in the program, or was it something you thought, oh, okay, I'll just get a handful of them and we'll be good to go?
Yeah, I originally, like I said, just because it was meant to be just a small little, like literally a pet project of mine, I was just looking for maybe 20 or so, sort of looking for really old dogs, like a lot of telltale signs of aging, so the chipped and missing teeth, the milky eyes, obviously the gray muzzle and the white eyebrows. And I meant it to be something just sort of visually arresting, these shots of kind of almost haggard-looking old dogs, and then it's almost, the project sort of just developed. It started becoming something a lot more by combining the text with it, and I just sort of kept going. I think I shot probably around 30 or 40 dogs that one summer, and then in October I had sent just an email to a favorite online photo blog, just saying, hey guys, this is a little project I'm doing. I thought you might be interested in it, as because they do sort of show off other photographers' works. And within half an hour, they had wrote an article on it, put it on their front page, and literally overnight it went viral. And I've woken up the next morning to interviews from all around the world, Huffington Post, National, BuzzFeed, the Daily Mail, Bored Panda. I could go on, but then after that, obviously, I started getting requests from people all around the world to come and photograph their dogs. So sort of just snowballed from there.
Amazing. Love how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So the project itself, when you had to narrow it down, because I'm assuming you went with just a handful, as you said, and then it exploded from there. Did you have a process in your mind of what you were looking for, or was it more of, did the photo outweigh perhaps the story, or did it have to have both to have the impact?
Definitely the impact of both the story and the image. But I think one of the main deciding factors was also just the breed. So, every dog lover has their favorite breed. And so I wanted to have as good of a representation of them throughout the book as possible. So anybody that's going through and they're, say, rooting for Team Dachshund are going to look for that dog, or, if they're into the Danes or Pit Bulls, So I wanted to have as many different types of dogs represented as possible. So, and also I needed to, because I ended up signing this book deal, what I was hoping would take me, say, 8 months of shooting suddenly turned into, like, we want to get this done in 2 months' time so that we could, have it available for this coming holiday season. This was last year at this time. So a lot of it, too, I realized that in order to get that variety of breeds, I would have to get out of a downtown city and start traveling around, because, some of the larger breeds are easier to find in smaller towns or in smaller cities where it's closer to the country. And so I was able to also spread the word a lot easier and get a lot of more response. So I could almost pick and choose them before even inviting them in to be photographed, and then take all the ones that I photographed and condense it down. But it was a difficult decision. I would have obviously liked to just have a book with all of them in, because I think they're all quite special.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that really stood out with me in the book is the fact that, not only is it the story's great and the photos are fantastic, but the uniqueness of the photos. I think you really captured the essence of these animals, because these, as you said, these are not only the gray, in their senior years, the gray muzzled dogs that are all happy and jovial and got funny faces that you often see on the internet. These are animals that have a lot to say and have seen a lot and been around the world, we'll say, in essence. So some of them, it's not just the smiley happy, it's the wisdom behind it.
Yeah. Well, I think that comes from my background training as a photographer, as a fine art photographer. I was always interested in portraiture, and I actually never really photographed any animals before this project. I sort of applied how I would go about photographing a person and applied it to a dog. So, the images are very sort of traditional portrait style. They're all kind of head and shoulders. I'm really just, wanting to challenge the viewer to look these dogs, right in the eyes, or in some cases, these dogs are blind or they only have one eye, but, just look at them in the face and really consider not the effects of aging, but the signs of aging on the face, like that there are kind of, their life stories are kind of written all over them. And yeah, there's a lot. I didn't want to just go with sort of the really cutesy, tongue hanging out type of dog portraits that are kind of popular right now. I really just wanted to show like these dogs as being stoic and sort of very proud and, a really kind of respectful image. And some, I've received a bit of feedback saying, some people thought that the dogs look sad, and I'm not wanting to project that. I think they more look noble. I think it's, an old dog that isn't by fault or by default a sad dog. These dogs, for a lot of them, have had really great lives. The stories do kind of inform it as well. Like some of them, the owners have had the dog since they were, a little puppy. And then in other cases, the owners had it for maybe a few months because they rescued it. So some have had like happy kind of stories to them, and some have, a little bit of a more sentimental or sad story. But in all, it's just meant to really celebrate these dogs.
There you go. I think you did a great job with that. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with Pete Thorne, talk to him a little bit more about his book, Old Faithful, Dogs of a Certain Age. So everybody hang tight. We'll come back after these commercial breaks. This is Animal Rights Show on Pet Life Radio.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your 4-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Hi, this is Tim Link, animal communicator and pet expert and host of Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have you ever wanted to know what your pet is really thinking? Do you want to find out if they truly understand what you're trying to tell them? Ever wish you could build a better understanding and closer relationship with your pet? Well, now you can. Learning to Communicate with Animals is a 4-part on-demand workshop. In the workshop, you'll learn the essential techniques that are necessary to communicate with animals, including what is animal communication, breathing correctly to achieve the perfect state to communicate with your animals at a deeper level, using guided meditation exercises and method to communicate with animals, and how to send and receive information from your animals. So if you're wanting to learn how to communicate and connect with your animals at a deeper level, visit PetLifeRadio.com/workshop and purchase and download Learning to Communicate with Animals. You'll be glad you did.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. We're talking to photographer Pete Thorne about his recently released book, Old Faithful, Dogs of a Certain Age. Now, Pete, when you put together the book and got it out there, were there any unique challenges that you ran into that you weren't expecting, or was it just a breeze to walk through this and get it there?
I mean, out of necessity, out of just having to get it done so quickly and to turn it around so quickly, it was actually a pretty easy process. I mean, I had a lot of support from my friends and family. A number of the cities that I went to, I had already lived there previously, or I knew somebody. So it was like, in terms of finding my way around and setting up a shop and shooting, that was pretty easy. And also, just based on the popularity of the series when it went viral, I was able to announce to various cities that, the Old Faithful Photo Project's coming to your town. If you have an old dog, we're looking for candidates for this book. And, I would receive a ton of responses. So at that point, it was just, the hard work was just putting in the days. I think that the hardest part really was kind of deciding which dogs are going to be in and which weren't. I mean, everybody obviously wants their dog to be featured. So, I had publishers to help with that part. But, I sort of had to learn how to do it all really quickly. And so it was a challenge, but it was a lot of fun.
There you go. So I'm going to have to say we've got a lot of cat lovers out there. Have you been getting emails about putting together the cat book next?
I am actually working on a cat book, yeah. I'm not certain if it's going to be a book yet, but it's definitely the follow-up project, so I'm hoping that we're going to be pushing it soon. For now, I got to kind of keep it under wraps because I don't really want to let the cat out of the bag, to say. But I am sort of actively working on a follow-up. This one's going to be a lot more lighthearted, a little bit sillier, and just a different challenge. The dog photography part was quite challenging, but at least the dogs work for food, and you can relatively get them to sit still. The cats is a whole other thing, but it's fun.
Yeah, cats do what they want to do. They don't buy into the word work. That's usually a good sorry, cat fans out there. But I'm glad you're doing that. You guys heard it first on Animal Rights Show. You're going to look for Pete Thorne and his wonderful cat photography coming up, hopefully in a book soon. So, yeah, you got to be careful out there, Pete. If you're writing about dogs, you got to get the cats in there too, and vice versa.
Yeah, of course.
So, Pete, after putting together the book and putting together the photos and everything you've done with this, is there a particular lesson that you've learned, or is there something that really hit you that you weren't expecting?
I guess just the incredible bond that people have with their pets. I mean, I've always had a pet growing up. I wasn't there for senior years. I'd moved out of the home by then, and haven't really had the opportunity to have one since. I'm a dogless dog lover right now. It's something I really hope to remedy in the next little while. It's just that all this has happened so quickly that I'm quite busy, but I'm really hoping to put together the space and the time to focus on my work and allow me to have a dog. But I guess I get a little envious of the relationships that people have with their dogs, and how big of a part of their life they are. And especially reading these stories, I think anybody that has a pet, a dog specifically, or has had one, will find something in the owner's accounts of the dog that would resonate with their own experiences with them. Yeah, so I guess I get my cuddle time in with the dogs when I'm shooting, but I'm kind of always a little bit jealous when I see somebody walking down the street with their dog.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's always it's a special bond. You're right, and it's definitely they're a member of the family, and it's a very unique situation. And I think you did a great job when you were talking about our senior dogs, how much they have meant to us in our lifetime, what they continue to mean to us, and all the lessons we can learn from them. So, Pete, where can people find out more about you and the book and keep track of all the wonderful activities you got going on?
Well, so the book has 75 dogs in it and their stories, but because I photographed so many and because this is a project that's still dear to me, I usually post a new dog every couple of days on, that isn't featured in the book, so all new ones, every couple of days on my Facebook page, which is Old Faithful Photo, as well Instagram, which is the exact same thing, Old Faithful Photo, and and through any of those, they could contact me to find out more about the book. I hope that, I believe that the book is widely available across North America, so either online or your local bookstore. And I really hope, people take the chance to flip through it. I think it's a great book if you're a dog lover, or if you know somebody that is a dog lover.
Absolutely. And just a fan of photography, the real essence behind it and everything you put together on it, I think is fantastic. So we'll share all those sites out there. Meanwhile, everybody go out and pick up a copy of Old Faithful, Dogs of a Certain Age by Pete Thorne. Pete, congratulations again on a wonderful collection and a wonderful book you put together there. We'll be interested in keeping tabs on all the activities you got going on, and look forward to speaking to you again real soon, hopefully when that cat book comes out. There you go.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of the show today. I want to thank everybody for listening to Animal Rights Show on Pet Life Radio. I'd also like to thank our sponsors and producers for making this show possible. To find out more about me, Tim Link, and the other guests I've interviewed on the Animal Rights Show, you can visit PetLifeRadio.com, click on the Animal Rights icon, and listen to all the wonderful interviews and keep tabs of what's going on. And while you're there, make sure you check out all the other wonderful hosts and shows on the network, which is PetLifeRadio.com. If you have any questions for me, comments, or ideas for the show, you can email me. Email me at tim@PetLifeRadio.com, and I'll be glad to answer your questions, entertain your comments, and bring on the people you want to hear from most. So until next time, write a great story about the animals in your life. share it in a blog, an article, or in a book. And who knows, you may be the next guest on Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have a great day.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.